Okay, so this is a solo review today just because I decided to catch a quick screening of this when I went to go pick up my tickets for Annabelle tomorrow night. I went to go see The Equalizer. And it was surprisingly better than what I thought it was going to be. I've heard reviews about this nonstop that it's never rises above mediocre. It's a poor man's action movie. It's a remake, so it kind of had shitty reviews going against it in the first place. But it's surprisingly good. It's better than anything I had hoped for. If you want just a really stupid, cheesy action movie, that's more or less what you're getting. But I have no idea what the TV show is about. Is he good at time or something like that? Because that's basically what Denzel Washington's character is. He can time specific things. Like the first fight scene is him walking out of the Russian bar, hub. He looks at his watch 16 seconds, and he just pictures, where everyone is in the room. 16 seconds, kicks down the door, and, just takes them all out. He fucking shoves a shot glass through one guy's eye. Corkscrews, two guys, and this movie uses its R very efficiently, which is good, after the Expendables 3 toning its shit down. But this is a hard R action movie, and it gets its use. But it was surprisingly good. Even the non-action scenes, one of the complaints I heard about it was that it has very bad pacing. And it more or less does. The first 20-30 minutes is, Denzel Washington's character, the Equalizer, or, not Crockett, that's fucking something else. I forget, it sounded like an egg. His name, it sounded like an egg. But the Equalizer, just going about his daily life, how he's, living like a Buddhist monk, just doing shit normally, not killing people. And he basically it starts to establish whatever little character he has, because there's a lot of backstory there, but he keeps it secretive, and so does the movie. It's not like he's just a guy who kills people. No, there is a story there, and hopefully we will get that in a sequel if they do one. But he frequents this diner, where he meets a young prostitute, played surprisingly good by Chloe Grace Martinez. I didn't recognize it was her until, the scene at the end of the movie where she's cleaned up and stuff, but basically he talks to her, they build a little bit of rapport. He eventually finds out that she's a pros. Her pimp comes and beats the shit out of her, and he tries to buy her freedom. He ends up killing a bunch of Russians, and then he has to go up the ladder of, the Russian mob to, take them out. Where this movie kind of actually got really good for me was that it actually used its storylines. A lot of action movies, I find, they will basically waste A or B stories, that don't resolve or make sense. I'm trying to think of a good example, but this movie, one of the B storylines was the Equalizer's friend at the department store he works in, or hardware store he works in, wants to become a security guard. And, the B story is, him training him to, not be such a slob, and how he was going to get the job, but then had to quit because his mother's restaurant got set on fire. He helps him out, kind of discreetly, but still helps him out, doing his, Equalizer shit. And he eventually becomes a security person at the hardware store. And then that later comes back into the main fight at the end of the movie, which was good. It worked out good. It wasn't just oh, here's a random storyline to take up time. It resolved itself perfectly and actually fit into everything at the end. You don't know how many times I'm sick and tired of seeing, just random plot lines thrown into something that just does not work out. But I'm trying to think what else was really fucking good about this. It's just a really cool movie, and I kept on thinking to myself in the theater, if this wasn't Denzel Washington, playing this character would still be good. I thought, I can kind of see Liam Neeson doing this, like, before he became the Taken guy, he was kind of a, not action hero, but, you know, I could kind of see Jason Statham doing it too. As long as you had an action lead, I think it still would be a good role. Denzel Washington doesn't bring anything specific to it. Yeah, he plays the badass, like, loner perfectly well. He's perfectly serviceable in that role, but, like, it's not one of those movies where just because Denzel Washington's in it, it's a good movie. No, this is a fairly good action flick on its own. Maybe I have a low tolerance for what's a good action flick. I don't know. Like, the shittiest one I saw recently was Expendables 3. Like, I liked Expendables 1 and 2. They were good for what they were, just stupid action movies. I liked Safe. I liked the Crank movies. I liked the old 80s action movies. But this, it works. There's no reason for it not to work. It just flows. One of the other cool things about it is the villains. The first Russian that he kills, I don't know if he's played by the guy who played sneaky fucking Russian Boris the Blade. Boris the sneaky fucking Russian from Snatch, but I think he's in this movie somewhere. I just can't tell because they all look like stereotypical Russians. But the first one, he's a fucking pushover. He gets his throat cut, and Denzel Washington's like sitting beside him as he dies, like, you're gonna bleed out in like 30 seconds. And you could have survived if you had taken the deal I'd offered you. But the next guy, I know I've seen him in something, I just don't know what. And because this is off-the-top reviews, aka off the top of my head, I don't do any research beforehand, I just say my thoughts about what I liked about the movie, and leave it at that. But he seems familiar, and I don't think he always plays evil characters. He looks kind of like evil Ron Atkinson in this movie, in all honesty. Like, he's a very creepy villain. He's not, like, sociopathic, creepy, like the villains in Walk Among the Tombstones. He's more calculating creepy, like, kind of like Van Damme's character in Expendables 2, or, I don't really know, he's actually a really good villain in this, though, like, whoever plays the main villain. And the other complaint that I heard that I kind of want to address in my own defense is the fact that it has so many goddamn endings. It does, it has quite a few ending scenes. And it did get a little bit on my nerves, but not really, because, okay, he takes out the guys at the main, like at the hardware store, he takes out, like, the guy who was sent to replace the first guy he killed. And his little henchman, he rescues his friends, and then it cuts to him in Moscow, and he's killing the head guy, and, like, as he's leaving, it's like all the people he killed to get there. Seriously, that makes fucking logical sense. Like, they really closed this movie up so that nothing from this specific incident could come back as a sequel. Like, that was actually really clever. Like, one way I thought they were going to end it was that he was going to offer the head, like, a deal like he offered the first guy, and then just, like, leave, cut the black. But no, he kills him, leaves. Another scene starts. He's talking to, prostitute girl there. She's cleaned up, she's not hooking, like, doing fucking good. And seriously, that scene kind of fits too, because, like, you only see her when they're introducing her. He's talking to her, he visits her in the hospital after she's been beat up, and then you never hear from her again. Like, I wasn't sure, like, did the Russian guy kill her? 'Cause I know he was looking for her, and, like, questioning people, and this guy, the main villain, like, kills people on, like, a fucking hair trigger. Like, he's talking to, like, this mafia guy, like Italian mafia guy, and he just, like, basically starts insulting him, and then starts beating the ever-living fuck out of him, like, for no reason. And, like, the guy who's with him is a corrupt cop. He's like, this is, like, my town, I'm supposed to keep you guys in line. Like, what the fuck why'd you do that? You can't be acting like a wild animal. He's like, I was sending a message. Like, he can kill people on a hair trigger, so I didn't really know if the other girl was alive. So, like, they meet, like, it's a closure scene. It's a really good closure scene. Then, this is where it got me. Okay, I thought it was gonna end. I, like, grabbed my bag, I put my shit away. I was about to get up. One more scene. This time, it's kind of like a montage of, like, time passing montage. But this is where the scene actually makes sense. It ends with him in the diner. Like, he has, like, this request help email saying, like, oh, in trouble, nowhere to run. And people respond to it, and, like, that's how he becomes the Equalizer, I guess. Like, he does this for, like, a living now. Because, I don't know if this was a moral theme in the movie or, like, an overall theme, but it's, like, yes, he's very good at killing people, but he's not a dick about it. He's, like, he gives them a chance. And, like, when he breaks into the Russians' money laundering thing, he says, okay, you guys can all surrender, and no one gets hurt. And they do. He locks them up in the meat freezer, gives, like, all the people who were working there, like, all the civilians, some of the Russians' money, and then calls the cops. Like, or you can go against what he says, and he'll shove a shot glass through your fucking eye. Like, that was a interesting tone this movie took. Like, yes, he has the ability to do these terrible things, but that's not always his go-to solution. And I know other movies have tackled it, and have tackled it better, no doubt, but it was just, this movie had such a, that's my new, I don't want to say comparison when I go to movies, but that's my new thing when I go to movies now, is it has such a high potential for failure. That's what I thought when I went to go see How to Train Your Dragon 2. That's what I thought when I went to go see Walk Among the Tombstones. That's what I'm going to be thinking tomorrow when I go see Annabelle. Like, compared to it's how badly it can fuck up. How badly does it fuck up? And Walk Among the Tombstones, yeah, it had a really high tolerance for fucking up. Like, it's a Liam Neeson movie, which I like, but seriously, I think Hollywood has finally got onto the fact that you can cast Liam Neeson pretty much fucking anything and he'll make it good. But Walk Among the Tombstones wasn't that. It was based on a book, which also lent it problems, but they were able to work in the fact that it's based on a book and still make it a good movie. The Equalizer, back on topic, it's based on a TV show. Kind of working against it, because TV show modern-day reboots have been hit and a miss. Like, Starsky and Hutch was actually really good. Like, I'm glad they reworked it as a buddy comedy. Like, it worked. 22 Jump Street was good, but you can only catch lightning in a bottle so many times before it electrocutes your ass. So, no, I thought, but that kind of shitty Miami Vice, like, I heard if you rewatch it, it kind of is a little bit better, but not great. But this movie, it had such a high potential for failure, and still it was good. Like, it worked. But as far as trailers, I didn't really get any new trailers this time. I got John Wick, I got a not Red Band interview trailer. Nothing new that made me like, oh my god, I have to write this down so I can talk about it. But also, I'm gonna, a quick catch up on my Strain review. I've been very busy with school, and it's just, I can't really do 2 weekly videos from now on. I barely have enough time to do one as it is. So I'm just going to toss my Strain review in this and maybe do a separate video next week instead of doing a movie. I don't know, but basically the last 3 Strain episodes were good. The show hasn't lost me. It involved the main guy, Corey Stoll's character, trying to find his wife. Turns out she's a fucking vampire. And it did it in a really emotional way. Like, he doesn't want to have to kill her. This is, once again, he's questioning, should he be killing these things? And the second episode was, them trying to track down the Master. Yeah, it was them, like, tracking down the Master, finding out where he is. And then the episode after that was them finding the Master, him escaping. So far, none of the episodes have been, like, needlessly there. Like, it's picked up. It's no longer, like, a slow burn. It's, like, in-your-face vampire action all the time now. And we actually did get to see, like, the Master's face close up, and oh my god, he's so glorious. Like, it's pretty cool. There's only 2 more episodes. I know the one of them aired, which I'm gonna watch, and then there's the finale. So my only gripe, whatever, with the series right now as it is they haven't really done anything with Gus. They killed off his family, but he hasn't, like, met up with the group yet. I don't know if that's gonna be, like, the finale thing. And there's this new random character with the group. She was the one who hacked all of the internet in New York so no one could communicate out. And my other complaint is that there's no longer been any information from the Stoneheart group. Basically, the human conspirators, that storyline's being avoided. Maybe there'll be some shit in the next one, or they're saving it for season 2, because I don't know if it's book 1 or book 2, but the master is basically like, oh, I don't fucking serve you guys. Rips the guy's throat out, and just, like, takes over the company. The last thing it did was, in the episode before the one I just watched, the vet, the exterminator, and this new girl, hacker girl, went to see Stoneheart. They told them to fuck off. They were escorted out. The guys who escorted them out said, look, we're not going to kill you. We don't know what he's doing either. He's fucking crazy right now, but just let us deal with it. So, but some side updates before I just leave you guys. It's October, it's Halloween, so if I have time, what I'm going to try to do is have, like, a weekly horror movie, or maybe, like, some classic reviews, like, get some David Lynch movies shot and reviewed with some people I know, or get some David Lynch movies reviewed with some people I know and unshoot the reviews. Just because I don't know how many times I watch, like, reviews on those movies. I still find them interesting because everyone has a different opinion on them. Like, I know quite a few people that love Mulholland Drive, and I think it's the worst piece of shit ever made. So, or even doing some classics like American Werewolf in London. I'll be able to give you guys a more cohesive update as tomorrow comes along. But, see you guys tomorrow for the Annabelle review, which I'm a little bit hesitant for, but how badly could this movie fuck up? So, talk to you guys later.